And we are back with another episode of the Daily Vedantic. And today's episode, I was going to say this morning, but I don't know what time it is where you're watching this. And if it's 2 a.m., good morning to you. This episode is on what we want. There's a story of Alexander the Great and his great conquest of the known world. As he's traveling across Asia, he gets into India and he hears of this sage. He hears of this sage that lives this simple life that everyone reveres because of his wisdom. And so he asks to go visit the sage. He finds the man sitting there basking in the sun, just sitting there in nature with nothing around him and barely wearing a loincloth. He goes up to this sage and he says, "I've heard you're a revered wise man. I would love to speak with you." The sage doesn't pay any attention at first. And then Alexander says, "Do you know who I am? I am Alexander the Great, and I would like to speak with you." To which the sage replies, "Well, what makes me great is that I have conquered the need to conquer the world." Alexander looks at him. He's bewildered by this exchange. He's never seen such a contrast of wisdom and irreverence for him, who's this conqueror of the known world. Alexander, bewildered, bemused, and actually impressed by the wisdom, says to the wise man, in service to your community and in appreciation for your wisdom, "I'll give you anything that you want." To which the sage, as the story goes, replied, "Can you move? You're blocking the sunlight." This story and that refrain of, "I have conquered the need to conquer the world." That's what we want. We think we want to conquer the world, but all we're doing is trying to satisfy this voice that says we are not enough. This internal, mental, agitated state that thinks if we conquer the world, then we will actually be at peace. And what we really want is the cessation of the desire to conquer the world. We've said this before in previous episodes. When you think you want that scoop of ice cream, what you want is to quiet that agitation you're feeling that wants that scoop of ice cream. What you're seeking is the peace, the cessation of that desire. It's not the thing of your desire, it's the cessation of your desire that you want. And this is the beauty in this story, is that it might be an ice cream today, it might be a promotion tomorrow, it might be a family a few years from now, but if you can conquer the need to accumulate more and more and more, and overcome this insatiable desire to conquer the world, then you actually get what you want. You conquer desire. You conquer the agitation of the mind that insatiably wants more. And you conquer yourself. As Muhammad famously said, the greatest jihad is the conquest of oneself. It's not in the world. It's not out there. Alexander had to go to the ends of the earth to try to find peace, and would ultimately die in that pursuit, whereas the sage could just sit there basking in the sunlight. That's today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.